Welcome to Serving Locally with me, your host, Michelle Dinas, the podcast where we spotlight service in the Longmont and surrounding communities. All right, let's connect. Hi, welcome to today's episode. We are joined here again by Staff Sergeant Bree and Sergeant Major Robert Newcamp from the recruiting station down in Denver for the Marines. So we'll just start and ask Sergeant Major, when did you join the Marine Corps?
I joined in May of 2000. So that's when I actually left for recruit training, Marine Corps recruit training in Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego in California. So that's when I started my journey to becoming a Marine.
In 2000, so that's 24 years.
Yes.
In service.
So that makes me pretty old.
Awesome.
Getting up there.
Salt and pepper.
It's just a number.
Yeah,
Salt and pepper.
Same question, Staff Sergeant.
Been in about to hit my 10-year mark. Same thing. I went to MCRD San Diego, and with intentions to do 4 years, but here I am, almost a decade later.
Yeah, no, that's
so
awesome.
11 every single time of it. So
That's great. What inspired you to join the Marine Corps?
For me, I think like most individuals that come in the Marine Corps, especially in my era, somebody inspired them to want to come in. For me, it was my grandfather. I really looked up to him. He was more like a father figure. Mm-hmm. So he was a Vietnam vet and just, cool as a cucumber. It just the way he carried himself, and I wanted to be just like him. And so he didn't talk that much about the Marine Corps until I actually got in the Marine Corps. But he had, trinkets and memorabilia from his time in the Marine Corps. He had this old photo of him when he graduated recruit training. And so I always would stare at it and thought that was the coolest thing. So I wanted to be just like him. So it was only right to follow in his footsteps and become a Marine as well.
That's great. That's funny that he would talk about it after.
It's
because you guys could relate then more.
It is. He needed me to have my own experiences in the Marine Corps before he started talking about his experiences. Because they were, I think, way more traumatizing for what he went through.
They don't want to scare you.
Yeah. And the way recruit training was for him was way more intense than what I went through. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he wanted me to get scared or, talk myself out of doing something like that. He wanted me to have my own experiences, which, looking back was a great thing for him to do.
That's incredible forethought on his
part.
Yeah.
It helped tremendously because I was already nervous enough.
Right.
So I didn't need anyone to add to it. And I was becoming it's like a legacy. You're following in his footsteps and others' footsteps. So I didn't want to let anybody down and all that. But yeah, it was great.
That's great. What about you, Staff Sergeant?
What inspired me to join the Marines? Well, I'm a first generation. My family's from another country. But I joined a little bit after graduating high school. I was 21. But looking back, just opportunities and stuff like that, being a part of something bigger than myself. It sounds a little bit corny, a little cliche, right? But it's after going through what I've been through and at the point of my career that I'm at now, it was something looking back and I can feel happy and satisfied with that I've actually gone through this process. I'm a Marine now, and I'm a part of something bigger than myself and helping other people, not just in my community, but also in a global, scale, like all the things that I've done and stuff like that. So for sure I guess that'd be it.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Where have you had the opportunity to travel during your time in the Marine Corps?
A lot of places, like most Marines, especially since I've been in for a few minutes. I've got to go all over Asia, countries like South Korea, the Philippines, mainland Japan, Okinawa, Japan, and then those are just naming a few. But I've also got to go to Europe recently, so that was pretty amazing. I got to go to places like Estonia, Romania, Sweden, Finland, Germany, France. France was amazing. I love food, so they do too. And it was a match made in heaven getting to visit there. But yeah, getting to visit those countries and experiencing those cultures is just, I loved every minute of it. Because growing up, I never left Texas, where I was born and raised. So I was out in the hill country, in the middle of nowhere. And so the first time I ever got on a plane was going to recruit training in San Diego. That was the first time I've ever been anywhere outside of Texas, was going to boot camp. So getting to travel the world with the Marines, being a Marine was incredible. And then being in the Marine Corps, I've got to travel quite a bit throughout the U.S. Like almost every state has been, that box has been checked. But I got to also go to Hawaii, which is, I think, underrated by a lot. I lived there for 6 years, and that was probably one of the greatest places I've ever been to. I would live there permanently, just the way it is. So I love that place.
What's been your favorite?
It's definitely Hawaii overall. The people are pretty amazing, and everything is pretty great. But food-wise, France definitely takes the cake for food. It's just butters and everything, So how can you hate a place like that?
Amen.
When I went there, it was like, I'm a big breakfast guy, but waking up and walking around, like they had cafe shops and bread. Me, I like my eggs, I like my meat. So I was walking around with my buddy, and I'm like, "Yo, where's Denny's?" I was like, "I need some protein, and besides coffee and bread."
Yeah, that culture really imprints on you. You start to, try to talk French. I mean, that's what they want to, but you find a cafe and then you're drinking some, espresso. Like they're big into their coffee.
Yeah.
Like coffee's
It's
next
good
level.
level, yeah.
Really, Europe in general, coffee's next level. I think like Sweden and Finland are some of the top countries in the world for coffee, and France is right
They
there.
like
but
their hot drinks over there.
I love that. And then everything's like breaded. It's some type of bread. It's a dessert or it's not. And you can go grab meats here and cheeses here at this store, and then you put it all together and make one of those charcuterie boards. Yeah.
Yep, that's my favorite
So
thing.
I did that and like made my own back in my hotel room and just went crazy. Probably gained 10 pounds.
I need a breakfast. Just throwing a
It's
fit.
new. I'm just kidding.
Just throwing a fit. Oh man.
Great. Where have you had the opportunity to travel?
My first duty station was Okinawa, Japan. I spent about 4 years there. But from there, like I got a good group of friends, all the Marines, and we just went all over Asia. Just not for work-wise deployments. I say deployments in quotation marks because people automatically think, some kind of conflict, something, right? Something military related. But no, my friends and I, we put in leave meaning vacation days. And we just went and traveled. We went and saw other cultures, tried different foods, Thailand, Hong Kong, all over the place in Asia. I backpacked Europe for a month too. So we started in Croatia, which is crazy because I never knew Croatia existed. I was like, what is that? You know what I mean? Screw it. It's like $30 a flight. Let's go. So we started there, and then we just made our way up north towards Germany, Austria, up to France and Spain, and just had a blast doing
That's
it.
awesome.
So very fortunate. I haven't been to Hawaii though, so that'd be maybe next on the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get the family there.
My buddy was
Let
like,
your boss know.
right? Yeah. She's trying to keep me here. I'm like, no. No, I have my buddy. He was went on deployment to Hawaii, right? I'm like, oh, poor you. Went to Hawaii. Like, dude, what?
Right.
But yeah, no, I've been very fortunate on my experiences and all the travel I've managed to do. So.
What was your favorite?
My favorite, oh man, that's a good one. I want to say it's between Barcelona or Croatia, just because Croatia was beautiful. It's pretty cool there meeting. I went there for a music festival initially, and that's where we started our trip. But I like just the agriculture, like not sorry, the buildings, the
Architecture.
architecture. There we go. Sorry, cut that out. But yeah, no, it was really pretty. It was really nice out there, right by the ocean. So, and then Barcelona, because I speak Spanish. So when they heard my Spanish, they were like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm from Mexico. What's up?" So it was pretty cool.
Sergeant Major, how has your perspective on leadership changed from when you first enlisted to where you are now? And what do you do now? Let's start with that. What do you do now?
Yell at me.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That's a small part. Well, usually it's been a big part of it.
There we go.
Yeah. No. I really, my job is like you're a jack of all trades and a master of none. You know, so a sergeant major is responsible for the command climate of a unit, right? So a large group of Marines, and you're there to ensure that each one of those Marines is taken care of. You're there to mentor them, to guide them, whether it's, family, personal, or career-wise, within the Marine Corps itself, just to make them better. And you're also at the same time, while you're doing all that, you're advising the commanding officer, who is really at the top of the pyramid. So they have a lot. A commanding officer has to deal with a lot. So you're really his right-hand man, or, and some Marines out there, right-hand woman. You're right there next to them, advising them on how to better, influence the Marines, how to better take care of the Marines, how to create a better command climate within the unit, and figuring out what those Marines need. So you're almost, you're a soundboard for them, so you can take what they give you and reciprocate that to the commanding officer, so he can figure out a better way of making that unit better and taking care of the Marines better overall, them and their families. So, yeah, it's a very influential and impactful position that I hold, and I think every sergeant major holds across. That's why there's always a sergeant major hip to hip with a commanding officer, all the way up to the commandant of the Marine Corps. And that's really the kind of impact, I guess, in a nutshell. I'm probably selling all sergeant majors very short across the board.
Maybe I'll ask Staff Sergeant that.
But yeah,
what does he actually do?
But I guess the kind of part he was leaning towards was, you kind of hold the line, right? You have to hold everybody accountable.
You're everybody's dad.
Yes, yeah. Kind of.
I was gonna say that, dad. Yeah.
We have values in the Marine Corps, and in my position, at my rank, we get looked to really hold those values. So you got to hold the line with all of
everybody
them.
wants to be.
I hope. You're trying to. That's another part. You're trying to inspire Marines to, maybe be you, but inspire them to want to be at your level, and inspire them to want to stay in the Marine Corps. If you're doing your job right, and it's something that you're doing on a daily basis, hopefully.
That's awesome. How did your perspective on leadership change from when you first enlisted to your position now?
Oh boy. When I first came in the Marine Corps, I thought leadership was, just yelling and screaming and, more intimidation, right? You're trying to intimidate the person to get done what you want them to get done. But that's kind of young, and, you're immature when you come in, and you start to gain more experience and get put in more positions where you're responsible for more and more Marines as you come up. And I think that's an age has a lot to do with it, but you start to gain some patience and understanding, and you start to, I was always taught that God gave you, a pair of eyes or 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? So you should use one more than the other. And so as you get older, you start to figure that out and start to do that. And that's where I think some of the best leaders are, is you build upon those listening skills and try to understand your Marines and the people you work with better. So I think that's where my leadership perspective has changed. Before it was like being like a pit bull, and there are times
having
it
your
does
minions
call.
do your bidding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's times that's called for. depending on what the mission is, but the empathy and understanding your Marines and communication and all those things that starts to come with it as you develop your leadership skills. So that's where I hope I'm at right now, and understand that you're always gonna have to get better and better and better. And yeah, having some humility to understand that.
That's fantastic.
Did you always know you were going to be a sergeant major?
So you should host your own show. Bree.
That's
He's
a
your
good question.
spokesman.
No, not at all. I mean, I love the Marine Corps. I didn't, I'm one of those individuals, the way I'm built mentally is to try to just take it day by day, not to look too far ahead. I set goals for myself and stuff, but I never truly thought, I don't know, maybe it's too much humility to you don't feel that you deserve to be in that position. Like the people that came before me that were my mentors that I looked up to that made it to this point in their careers, I didn't think I deserved that.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a responsibility. It's quite an impact that you can make, and you can be very influential, and I just didn't think I deserved that. And then you start to get up to that point, and you start to get, you stay in long enough, you start to realize, like, maybe I should get to that position to try to make an impact, because you feel as though some things need to change, and you want to see those changes, you want to impact those changes. That's why you get to be an advisor to a commanding officer, and hopefully you get to influence in a positive way to help make some of those changes. So you start to realize, like, maybe I am worthy of being in that billet. So
That's awesome.
good question.
Yeah, very good. No, he's going to be my co-host from now on. 'Cause he's great at this. What about you? So your position now, and then how leadership has changed for you?
My current position right now, so I'm responsible for an office of other Marines that are, talking to the younger generation out here. So it's my responsibility to kind of watch and mentor and train them. That way they can actually be, come out here and, because let's take a step back. It's easy for Marines and military person in general to be very direct with, their conversations and what they talk about and stuff like that. So when somebody comes out here to like be a recruiter and talk on behalf of the Marine Corps and stuff like that, they need to kind of slow it down, understand all the abbreviations that the military has, because we have so many, right?
Yes.
And help them out, right? Help them out, talk to the younger generation, because I came in 10 years ago, and now high schools are completely different from where I went.
I hear that.
So my responsibility right now is to help the Marines that are coming up and help them get better, right? Whether it be some kind of training, social media training, stuff like that, no matter what it might be, I'm responsible for that. My original job in the Marine Corps is a mechanic. I work on diesel engines. So besides turning wrenches at my rank now, at my position that I'm at now, it's the same thing, training, helping, some of the administration stuff. And kind of the same thing here as the guy responsible for that office is also the administration part. So that's why he yells at me, because I'm more
Paperwork
hands-on.
sucks.
Exactly.
I
Thank
hate
you.
it.
Thank you. Yes.
I hear
See?
you.
So major. So
You're-
major.
You're preaching to the choir. Right? So,
I think he has more than you.
He does, yeah. He does. But no, that's my responsibility. That's my role here, and then I report to him and my commanding officer and the people above me. So, yeah.
Well, how has your perspective on leadership changed from when you first started to now?
Oh, that's a good
And
one.
maybe of the people that you look up to.
No, that's a good one. Just how he was saying, because when you're responsible for other personnel, right, there's personality clashes, right? So knowing that Marine, knowing that person, knowing that individual of what makes them go, what doesn't, what's more effective to them, how you talk to them, what kind of verbiage to use, how you go about, holding them accountable on all that kind of stuff. It plays a major role, especially because our offices here, like my office that I'm responsible for, there's only four Marines going to 5 Marines here next month. So understanding those Marines, that's like the biggest thing. So just how he said it, Sergeant Major said it, just having that humility, listening more than talking. That's a big one. So
That's great, because I think it's when you think of the higher up you go in the ladder of whatever the positions, I don't even know how to say it, that you think that they'd get harder, as in like less caring or more talking, less listening. But it seems like it's opposite from what my perspective would be looking in on any type of military operation.
It's interesting how that works. You, in the Marine Corps and really all branches of service, as you move up, you gain so much more understanding of how, you just start to receive more leadership skills or build upon your skills, but you get further away from the Marines because you end up, in these
Really serving your Marines.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're in these impactful meetings and you're trying to be a voice for them, and so you end up in a lot of meetings. Whether through video or in person, and they're very important, right? They have a huge impact on the individual jobs and positions that we hold, but you do slowly get away from those Marines, and you try to pull yourself back to them, as much as you can. There's sergeants major that are out there in the Marine Corps that are much higher than me, that are holding positions where they're in an advisement position at a unit where they have thousands of Marines under their charge. So they spend a lot of time in meetings, and they try everything they can to try to get in front of those Marines and hear what issues and concerns they have, just like the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps does on a regular basis. So it's ironic that you start to gain all these skills and then you get further away from the Marines, and it's just the way it is. It's
more complicated, so it's more with almost like a challenge.
Yes.
Here's these skills, now figure out how to
Oh yeah,
how to use them as we take you away.
that's a good way of putting it.
Interesting. I never thought of it like that. How do you overcome challenges during difficult times in your career?
I think you overcome that through gained experience. It gets a lot easier. I think a lot of the way I kind of overcame difficult challenges early in my career were how I was raised. The culture and the way you're raised, by parents and stuff has a big impact on how you overcome a lot of challenges early in the Marine Corps. I mean, boot camp alone, going through recruit training it's for most people that do it, it's the most difficult thing you've ever faced. And the way you're kind of raised, to be able to, fend for yourself and take care of yourself and gain a little bit of independence. And my parents were really tough on me, my mom especially, in a good way. She was a single mom, so you had to grow up really fast. And it helped me just have a little bit of grit, I guess you say, going to boot camp. And as I've gained more experience in the Marine Corps, being in combat environments and dealing with difficult leadership challenges, you come across so many different scenarios. You just start to build a resiliency to it. And so now at this point in my career, it takes a lot to get me rattled. That's a great way of putting it. It just takes a lot for that to happen now. I'm very calm and relaxed and patient. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. How do you overcome challenges during difficult times in your career? Yeah.
Well, he's been through so much more than I have. Usually when I come over something challenging, I always talk to my wife about it. So, I mean, she was a Marine too, so she kind of understands some of the challenges that, Marines face and stuff like that. So I talk to her, or I reach out to Sergeant Major here and kind of pick his brain on how he would handle some situations. But always asking for help is one of those things. In the veteran community, it's always easy to just keep it, to yourself. I think that's the best way to deal with some challenges, right? Ask for help, ask the people that are here to help us and guide us.
That's great. No, that's fantastic. Fantastic advice. Yeah, reach out and ask questions.
Yeah, there's always somebody that's has already dealt with that.
There's what is it? There's the thing where it's the person that has done it and that knows, and then you're going through it, and then somebody's like, and you help each other. Yeah.
Like a ladder, yeah.
Yeah, and then that person that's just coming into it, you have just a little bit more experience to help. And as a homeschool mom, I learned more by teaching my kids, than I ever did like in school. Like teaching something, you retain more. You have to think about it in different ways and stuff too. So yeah, it helps all around, not just the student also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and how are they going to receive it? Yeah, it's
because you got to think about different ways of my son takes things different than my daughter and how they learn. So I have to, and then I'm totally different too. So it's like, all right, well, how can I even go around this so they can understand? So yeah, no, that's great that you reach out to that and that you have the ability to do that. That's great. What advice would you give to young Marines today?
Take advantage of the Marine Corps and what it has to offer, because I think when you're young in the Marine Corps, you're very naive. You don't do a lot of research into what it has, and so you just kind of stay in your own little bubble because you're for me, it was just I was being from a small town and all that, so I was kind of nervous to be a little bit more of an extrovert and experience more things. So I was very introverted. And so I missed out on a lot of things early in my career. So that's probably the biggest advice I would give to a young Marine is it's like talking to myself, when I was young. It's just like, go do something, go have some fun, take advantage of everything it has to offer, go get on a deployment, go see the world, because you don't know if you're going to do it 4 years or you may do it 20, and you just don't want to look back and regret a moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. I know this is what you do for a living. So what do you tell your young kids getting into the Marines?
I always tell them to care about what they're doing, care about, the Marines to the left and to the right, and care about their career. Because I always tell, these young men and women that we talk to, even young Marines, I'm like, hey, here are all the tools, we show you how to use these tools. All you got to do is pick them up and use them. So just as Sergeant Major was saying, like, take advantage of all those opportunities, benefits, everything that the Marine Corps has to offer, take advantage of it. Because, throughout our career, we see Marines, even people in general, get complacent, right? So I always tell them to, in PG way, care about your career.
What changes have you seen in the Marine Corps in your careers, and how do you feel about those shifts?
I've seen a lot of changes, and I think every one of them has been positive for me. Marines, we don't like change. I think that's.
Does anyone?
Yes,
really?
I was just about to say. A lot of people are the same way. They don't like change, but Marines really don't. You get set in your ways. You like this. You like a piece of equipment or something that's come along, and then they take it away and they give you something even. At the time, it's frustrating, but it's actually something better. And so the way the Marine Corps is shifting right now, I think there's been a lot of thought by a lot more, much more important people than me, with much bigger brains than mine. But the shift that I see is in a direction where it's going to benefit us, and make us stronger as a Marine Corps, more relative to what might be down the road, and just prepare us better so no one wants to, try to start anything with the United States. And it's been just, the Marines are so much better now that are coming in compared to when I was coming in. Like the technological advances that they have, the what assets they have available to them, they're just far beyond what I was. So in that sense, like the direction that the Marine Corps is going, the shift that it's making to get back to like its naval roots, because we kind of got away from that with Iraq and Afghanistan, became more of a ground force. Now we're getting back to our naval traditions, naval roots, because we're property of the Navy. And
I didn't know that either.
It is, yeah. We were,
Department of the Navy.
Yeah, I mean, we're created to protect the Navy, and that's why we're on ships still to this day. To be that 911 anywhere in the world. But I think that's what we're getting back to more so than trying to be that hardcore ground force. I mean, we're really good at it. Don't get me wrong. Marines are amazing at that.
But to be a Marine is to be
Amphibious.
all of it.
Yes.
Yes.
We like to call ourselves amphibious monsters. So, yes. So we're.
Don't think that helps their perspective on you guys.
Well, it's not about we want the enemy to think
Oh,
that.
yeah, no, I hear you,
So
but-
they're scared of the water. We want to make them
Scared of the-
fearful of the water.
I
the
like the
water,
water.
the sky, and the land.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I didn't know you guys had an Air Force or had
Yep.
air stuff too.
The
and
best
so-
pilots in any branch of service.
So yeah, to be a force in all of that, that's awesome.
That's the Marine Corps. Like, we will do everything in our power to be the best at any area you put us in. So if it could be Marine Corps ping pong team, we'll be the best ping
Right.
pong team that we can in the world. That's just a Marine mentality. It's
That's-
just instilled in the one after the next.
Right.
What was your original MOS?
0311, which is an infantryman. So you're a combat Marine, right? You're
Land.
ground.
Okay. See, I don't know.
Air,
So-
land, and
Yeah,
sea.
just
What
a
are we talking about?
basic rifleman.
Okay.
That's what I did for a long time in the Marine Corps. So that was
Yeah, the last time we were here, we were talking about how the Marine Corps we have our own capabilities, air, land, and sea. The EGA is what it stands for. So yeah, I mean, now you being land, I mean, it just helps put that into perspective for like someone or any listeners that are like trying to figure out what the Marine Corps actually does. Because we're amphibious, we have tanks that float in the water and then go out to the beach and do what they got to do. So no, yeah, 100%. And him being ground side, being infantryman, is just he's got a more wider range because he's seen more of what the Marine Corps has, just being infantrymen, just because they are the main focus of the Marine Corps. So all the jobs, aviation, some land, and anything like that, we're here to support the infantrymen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main effort, as they would say. So, yeah, the ground forces. I mean, obviously, we're the ones that are going to go in and eliminate the threat. So everything around us, supply, motor transportation, air support, everything is there to, ensure that we're not limited in any way, that we can achieve that mission.
Changes have you seen? And how do you feel about the shifts?
Just what Sergeant Major was saying, the technology that's the Marine Corps, like we've evolved and kind of helped that out, even with other jobs. For example, my job, we went from old, dusty Humvees to brand new vehicles that are more like electrical harnesses, all kinds of different stuff like that translates very well to civilian side. So with the military, with the Marine Corps implementing these changes, it not only helps the Marine Corps itself, but the individuals that come in, and we send them to school to learn how to work on, such equipment. And if they want to get out and continue what they were doing with the resources that they used in the Marine Corps, then 100%, it's pretty good. So.
Very cool. Looking back on your career, what legacy do you hope to leave within the Marine Corps and within the Marines that you have led?
I just want to make an impact where, like, I better someone that comes in behind me, right? Like, I think that's what a lot of people hope for. You just want to leave it better than you received it. So that's what I'm hoping, is that any Marine that comes in behind me and takes this position, becomes a sergeant major, is set up for more success, and loves the Marine Corps as much as I do. Yeah, I guess you could say you want to be kerosene on a fire,
I like that. That's
not,
good.
not an
Better.
yeah, not an extinguisher. So that's what I hope, is because I don't know. It's a really, I think, difficult question for me to answer, just because I don't. I don't look at myself as like a legacy. I just, I'm one Marine and there's a lot of us. And I just hope that the people that I interact with and that I make some type of impact to where they want to do this.
Yeah.
They genuinely want to do it, and hopefully they grow a passion for it and they love it as much as I do.
No, that's a great answer.
No, same thing. Just making an impact. Just a positive impact on the Marines under me, and I mean, I'm planning on doing a little bit more than 20 in the Marine Corps. So I think that's the biggest thing, just making an impact, having people actually do something with their lives. Because I was there to help them out, whether they didn't know something, answer some kind of questions, or just help them through personal stuff. Just making an impact and helping people.
No, that's great. That's great answers. I've already asked Staff Sergeant Bree, but what does service mean to you?
It's serving others. I think that's the main point of my job is service. I serve them and I serve this country, right? I serve every Marine. And I love that. I mean, when I grew up, I thought I was going to be a police officer, I wanted to be a cop or a firefighter, like I think a lot of kids when I was little. And so being in the Marine Corps, you get to serve. You get to see the impact that you make. And one of the biggest impacts, like for service, I think the first time I really got to see that was being in Iraq and liberating those people and seeing the impact that we made on them. And you can't see that in on the news. You really just don't get to see that.
No,
But when
nobody
you're
knows.
there and you see these people and the impact, you're talking with them and how emotional they are, and you see the way they're living and how you've helped them, like the humanitarian aid that you're providing, that's enormous. Like you really firsthand the service that you're getting to provide as a United States Marine.
We have no idea
Yeah,
here in
it's-
America what struggle
It hits you,
it is.
Emotionally. It makes you very thankful for what you have, but it makes you want to keep doing it. Like I want to make that impact again. I want to serve that way again. And so I think that's another reason why I keep coming back. I keep enlisting and staying in because I would be honored to have that opportunity again to help someone less fortunate than us as a country. So that's one of the reasons why I love to serve. Yeah.
Give us a little background about yourself.
So I'm from like the sticks in Texas, like the hill country. So I grew up in a little place called Sandy Creek, which is next to Leander, which some might know. And it's about an hour and a half outside of Austin, Texas.
Okay.
So, everybody knows Austin, right?
Oh, there you go.
Hook 'em
Yeah.
horns. Shout out to my favorite football team. But so that's where I grew up. And yeah, single mom. She, worked really, really hard. We were not well off. It was really rough. But she made it work. So I was working at a really young age and helped her out. And I think that instilled some of those things that I was talking about earlier, just independence and working hard and, and just wanting to do better for myself and for them. And then,
So there's the stigma. I don't mean to interrupt, but
No.
there's the stigma that, well, if you're not good or you keep getting in trouble, I'm going to ship you off to the Marines. Can you break that down?
where that comes from?
Yeah, or like why? Like, is that where most of your recruitment comes from, or is that even a thing anymore? Like,
No,
you know what
not
I
at
mean?
all.
Like,
Back in your
what's
day.
what's the viewpoint need to change on that's where the basis of you guys are, is that they're bad boys that are,
Yeah.
it's either jail or you go to the Marines.
Oh no, not at all. I think the Marine Corps is an opportunity. Like I think yes, there is some old school thought process that is associated with the Marine Corps. Maybe we're the most elite fighting force. I wanted to do it because I'm a legacy, so my grandfather did it, but it's the hardest. If you're going to do something, why not make it hard, make it difficult, test yourself. And it instills something in you that you're not going to be able to do yourself. It's someone else instilling that in you, creating that. It's like igniting a fire that you didn't know was there, and that's being a United States Marine. I mean, we are by far the best branch of service. You just stand us up next to any other branch, you can immediately see the difference. The way a Marine carries themselves. It's funny, I would walk through towns and stuff, and they say, I'd be in regular clothes, and I'd have, a man or woman come up to me and say, are you a U.S. Marine? And I say, yes, ma'am. And so I knew it right off the bat. The way you're walking and carry yourself and the way you're dressed and all those things. And I think that's one of the biggest things that sets us apart is how we carry ourselves. We're true professionals, 24/7. And I think the whole stigma of it's either this or the Corps,
Yeah.
I think that's like an old mentality. That was the military in general, I think, where way back in the day, I know I'm getting up there in age, but it's well before me, where they would say the judge would give you the opportunity, like you can either serve your country or you can go to jail.
Right.
And then they'd serve their country. But
that's just the stigma that has stuck.
Yeah.
yes.
And it's not necessarily that way.
No, and we're not like the Marine Corps, a long time ago, the Marine Corps was very limited. I mean, a long time ago. But today, like what these individuals with these young Marines have access to when they're coming in and what the capabilities that they have, I mean, you're talking about the education alone, like what they have access to, free tuition assistance, you have the GI Bill. We're giving you a college education. I have a college education because of the Marine Corps. I mean, it's given me way more than I could ever give it. And that's probably why I love it so much. But just, it's taken me from poverty, right? What I would consider poverty to where I'm at today, where I feel I'm successful. And not many people can say that. Where I grew up, not many people made it out of there. And so I was one of the rare ones. And, I owe that to the Marine Corps. And I think there's a lot of young men and women out there that have that same situation that they're facing that I faced and have that same opportunity. They just have to go seize it. They have to want it and go do it. And your life has changed forever. And this may be a 4-year thing that you do, or it could be 30 years. You never know until you try it, but you'll never look back on it and regret it. I haven't met one that regrets this decision.
That would have been another question, is if you other people that are like, wow, that was the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
But no.
I know it's long-winded, but
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, even now though, like there's a young man and woman that try to do that. They're in like some kind of trouble with the law, and they call the office. Like, hey, can you help? Like, nah, bud, sorry, you gotta figure that out.
Oh, it's not really an option anymore.
No,
We
it's
can't
not.
hide in the military anymore.
No, we turn them away. Like they cannot join the Marine Corps at least. They cannot join the Marine Corps if they have any kind of open investigation or what have you. No.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's even certain criteria too that they have, felonies or even some kind of certain charges that they might have, that the Marine Corps will turn them away because they have certain things. Other services they might not, but the Marine Corps will not accept them.
That's interesting. I didn't know about that either. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
yeah, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks you guys for taking the
Appreciate
time and coming out. Thank you to my guests, my listeners, and my supporters. Serving together, we can strengthen our community. Please like and subscribe. Do all those other things. You got to do them. Because that's the easiest way that you can serve right now. All right, now go. Connect with others and be a blessing.